No stopping, we're going to have to come straight in here. That is Gala Pie made right there. Look at that. That is fantastic. And look at that jelly round there. That is superb. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today, a cracking picnic type pie. That's how I could describe this. It's a fantastic pie to be taken and eaten on a road trip or anything like that. We're making the Gala Pie. Now the Gala Pie's been around for a long time in the UK, and it is a firm favourite. It's basically a pork pie with an egg in. Now, loads of recipes for it as usual. This is my way. It starts with making some hot water crust pastry, and I think personally the hot water crust pastry is probably one of the most forgiving, easiest pastries to make. So let's crack on. We need some hot water. Okay, so we're just going to warm this water up in here to hot, not to boiling all over the place. Hot water. So that is our hot water, and this is our butter and shortening. In we go. Now you can use lard, anything like that. Now all we do is melt the butter into the water. That is it. That's where the hot water crust comes from. And you do not have to be boiling and boiling and boiling. We just need to melt that in there nice and gently. Now you have to be very careful as well, because don't forget, now you've got more than just boiling water. So if this splashes, you're splashing hot fat. So just be a bit careful. So we just dissolve that in there nice and gently. So that is dissolved, I reckon. So just warm it a little bit, but we're not boiling. Can you see? Bubble, turn off. That's it. This is all you need to do. It's that simple. You can see there's no rushing around, nice and steady. Everybody seems to rush the hot water in. Well, a little bit of salt in there. This is all-purpose flour. All-purpose or plain flour, whatever you know it by. And then all we do is add our hot water, butter, shortening mixture. It's as easy as that. And then we need to bring that together. Now don't stick your hand in. Just bring it together. So you can bring most of it together just by using a spoon or even a wooden spatula before you get your hand in, because don't forget this is still quite warm. So there you go. Now it's not overly hot at all. So we can get our hands in and we can bring it together. Now you could chuck it out onto a work surface if you want to bring it together, but it's just easier to keep it all in the bowl. Now, hot water crust pastry, because this is still hot, it feels soft. It's going to harden a little bit when it cools down. Now, because we're making a Gala pie, we want a 2/3, 1/3 on this, something like that. That's going to be our big bulk of our pie, that bit. and this bit will be the lid. And there'll probably be too much for the lid actually, but not to worry. So we've got like a 2/3, 1/3 break there, look. Just like that. 2 balls, small ball, big ball. And then what we have to do is put this in cling wrap and let it cool down. So that's the first bit. Now just gently squash it down a little. That's just going to help us when we come round to rolling it out. And then we just want to put our cling wrap quite loosely over that. That'll help us get it out like that. So there we have 2 lots of pastry. There's the base and there's the lid. We have to let that cool. So I've got my eggs in here and I'm going to boil them. I'm not going to teach you how to boil eggs. They're going to be hard boiled eggs. We're going to stick them on, boil them for about 8 minutes or so, take them off the boil, stick them under the tap, cool them down, then we're going to peel the eggs. Okay, so while our eggs are boiling away, we've got a little bit of meat to chop up. I've got some bacon, streaky end bacon, and we're just going to chop through it and add it to our mince. I've got mince in here. Now you would normally use belly pork, but I'm using mince, and this is pork shoulder, and we will be cubing that up too. So we just want to be mincing through our bacon, and that's going to be added in there. So that's nice and easy, look. Swap that in there with that mince. Right, our pork shoulder, we want some small cubes. So you've got to get in there. If you want to use the fat, keep the fat. If you don't, trim off what you don't want. Now, we want little chunks of meat in here. And so it is basically just cube it small. So we've got some little cubes of meat there, look, in it goes. So just carry on, cube up your pork shoulder and add it to the rest in the bowl. So there's our good mixture of meat there, look, we've got some pork mince, we've got the bacon, and we've got that shoulder. Just give that a little mix through before we add our seasoning. Just turn it in. Okay, so the next stage of this, then we just want to mix up some seasoning. So we're going to have to go in there with a bit of salt. Now, salt and pepper to taste, whatever you want. In there with some good old freshly ground black pepper, a little bit of thyme, and we want to be going in there with a little bit of sage, about a teaspoon each actually. That's our seasoning done. And we got some finely diced onion, and then it's hands in, mix it all together, get it all fully incorporated, nice and easy, get it all in there. Now some people don't put onion in, others do. Some people do different seasoning. Use whatever seasoning you like, you know, but thyme and sage were the sort of like main seasonings in the day. So that's it, that's our mix. Then all we got to do now is let this rest. Now it doesn't have to rest for any length of time as such, but we just want those flavours just to go in there with that meat while we crack on with our eggs, peeling our eggs and things. Now I'm not going to peel eggs on film, I'm just going to peel the eggs and I'll end up with some boiled eggs. I'm using a 9 by 5 loaf tin, I don't know what you call it, a 2 pound loaf tin or 1.5, I don't know what they are, but it's 9 by 5. It's a loaf tin. And we're going to have to put a little bit of parchment paper in there before we put our pastry in. We'll have to be able to bring it out. Now it should come out anyway, because this is a non-stick and we're using hot water crust, but we just have to be a bit careful we don't want to stick it. Okay, we've got our tin there, and all we're going to do is just put a little bit of baking paper in there like that, and then we're going to put the pastry in there and we should be able to pull it out. That's what we hope. So you guessed it, we have to roll the pastry to fit that. So off we go with the rolling. Now that is quite a lump of pastry, but should be fine. So we need to get that in there any which way you can. So that's our pastry in there, like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Now, feed it in. Now, we want a big overhang, but we do want it in the bottom of the tin. So make sure you feed it in. That's looking fine. We want to be taking off just a little bit of that excess, and we can use that to make some decorations. So that's easy enough. Look, that's our tin lined out with our pastry, and we've still got this little bit of an overhang. It looks like it's gone under a bit, but not to worry, we've still got a little bit of this side. Any old how with the mince, drop it in. Now it wants squashing into the bottom. Squash it in nice and gently, get it in there. I mean, this thing is going to be a belting pie. Now push down in the middle like that with your fingers. We need to make a well in there. That's where our eggs are going to sit, in that well. We need all the eggs to join up inside, so we're going to take that off there like that. And take that off there like that. Maybe there's a bit more. Huh. Okay, so we've got our egg yolk and our egg white. So basically we're just joining up all the egg inside like that, all the way along. And all these bits of egg here are going to be an egg sandwich afterwards. So we've lined out the inside of our pie with our egg, like that. And then we need to carefully stuff the rest of the meat round that egg in there, nice and carefully. So we're just going to take that and we want to layer that in there. Beautiful, look at that. A little bit of flour. Then we need to roll the top to fit. Let's just bring that across there. That on there. little bit of egg around the outside there. Squash it in there like that, and don't be frightened of squashing it in. We don't want that on there, obviously, it's too much. That could be our leaves. Okay, just fold it in like that with your fingers. Crimp it up together. Okay, the usual. A little bit of a pattern round the top. Egg wash this. Egg wash all over. Make it beautiful. Right, for the pie this size, we want a couple of vent holes in here. Now you could just cut it in with a knife, or you could take some, this is the end of a sausage thing. Well, we just want to, in there. So we've got a couple of holes in there for venting. Now for our leaves, mark the top. And then, like that, with your fingers, pick up your leaf. Doesn't need anything more fancy than that, and we want a little bit of egg wash on there. Now that is our pie. Oven on. You could have preheated your oven ages ago, but I'm using the HYSapientia Air Fryer Oven, and it does not need preheating for ages and ages. We are going to preheat this at 160. So a pie like this massive pie, would cook in a conventional oven at about 180. Okay, for a pie this size, you would cook in a conventional oven 180 for about 30 minutes. Reduce the heat down to about 160 and cook for about an hour 15, somewhere like that, for it to be cooked. And obviously you'll have an intent. If you were doing an internal temperature, you would have an internal temperature of about 75 degrees, somewhere around about there for that pork. Now we're using the air fryer oven, so we're going to do it at 160 for 30 minutes. We're going to drop it to 140 for about an hour, and we might have to cover the top. We will have to watch it. Always put on a tray, because this has got all those fats in with that meat, and it should bubble over. In we go. 30 minutes at 160. Okay, I have concerns that this pie is going to cook the pastry too quick. I mean, the pie is looking absolutely stunning. I mean, just look at that. That is going to be an absolute thing of beauty. That, I mean, is sensational looking. The problem we have is that that is going to cook too quick on the top and not cook out the inside. So we're going to have to cover it. We're going to cover it, and we are going to drop the oven temperature straight away to 140, and we're going to cook this for an hour in there covered. Okay, so we just got to get this out and give it a looking at. There's quite a lot of juice coming out of there, look. Now we're looking for an internal temperature of 75, and we've got an internal temperature of 73. But then we've got all this watery gunge on the top. What we're going to do is put this in uncovered, flush out the top of the pie so it drains out. It'll go into the tray, that's fine. And we'll see what happens. Come on, let's get that back in there. So I'm going to probably come up the temperature to 160, I think. Okay, there we are. Oh, it absolutely smells amazing. Just look at that beauty. Wow. It smells amazing. The sage, the thyme, the pork. Right, all we got to do now is let it completely go cold. What I've decided to do, I am going to put some jelly in actually. So I've got some chicken stock in here, flame on, and we're going to bring it up to the boil. Okay, so that's our chicken stock heated up. Now we're going to let this cool slightly, because what you don't do, you never boil gelatin. So we're going to let it cool slightly, and then we're going to dump our gelatin in there and whisk it in. This is our chicken stock then. We boiled, it's cooling down. So it's cooling enough just to get the gelatin in there, and we can stir it in. So we're going to go for that much, and we're going to mix that in there, and then we're going to let it cool, and when it cools we're going to tip it in our pie. To make it easier, we're just going to pour our gelatin into a jug. Okay, when you pour anything in like this, it's going to bubble up completely to the top. Now we have to put a vent hole in to help expel the air out. Now a lot of people don't do it, but we should do, and we're going to put the air hole there. We're going to just come in down there like that. So we've got a hole all the way in. We're going to nice and gently tip our gel in our pie. And I'm going to come to this side as well, where we put that other hole. Hopefully that goes all the way down too. Wow, must be quite a lot of fluid loss in there. That's 300 mils of chicken stock going in here. There we go, full to the top. So it's filled up there and it's blown out here. That is what we need. We have to have a blowhole which blows the air out. So that's our pie filled with jelly. Now you can always take off the excess from here, not a worry. To me it doesn't really matter, you know, you have the jelly on there, who cares, you're going to cut slices anyway. Okay, so that's our jelly full in there, full right to the top. Okay, that goes in the fridge for a couple of hours, 3 hours. So look at that, that is phenomenal. Out of the fridge, it's cooled down. Only thing we've got to do now is work out, will it come out of this tin? look at that. Look at that thing. No stopping, we're going to have to come straight in here. Oh. Well, we've cut it, and now we got the grand reveal. Oh, come on. Look at that. That is fantastic. And look at that jelly around there. That is superb. Wow. That is Gala Pie made right there. Oh, we got a big chunk here, look on the side, but we're going to take that slice there, look. Need to be coming in here. Oh, look at that with the seasoning. That is phenomenal. There we are, Gala Pie made. All we got to do now is dig in. Gala Pie. Got that lovely hot water crust pastry, got that little bit of gel. Oh, Come through that egg. Look at that. Totally incredible. That really is good. That's a fantastic Gala Pie made right there. Fantastic for anything. Take to work, picnics, a family occasion, anything like that. It looks absolutely superb. A centerpiece pie in anybody's household. That is superb.